Pregnant wife sees Millionaire bring Mistress home. She turns away in fury while he panics. High above the bustling streets of Manhattan, two lives poised on the brink of collapse and betrayal. For years, Damon Blackwood ruled his world with wealth, charm, and an impenetrable facade that shielded him from the consequences of his own desires. His wife, Eleanor Martin Blackwood, clung to the belief that true love could triumph over social divides and ruthless ambition. Yet tonight, all illusions shatter. Damon escorts his stunning mistress into the very home Eleanor once believed was her sanctuary. Flames of fury spark in Elena's eyes as she turns away, leaving Damon frozen in panic. In that instant, everything changes forever. Elena Martin was never supposed to marry a millionaire. Raised in a modest household on the outskirts of Queens, she learned the value of hard work and the importance of family bonds. Her father, Gabriel Martin, was a school bus driver, and her mother, Lucia, made ends meet by working at a local bakery. Money was scarce, but affection and mutual support were abundant. Elena's childhood was filled with simple joys, playing hopscotch on cracked sidewalks, sharing homemade empanadas with neighbors, and dreaming about one day becoming an artist or a teacher, anything that could serve her community. Damon Blackwood's world was the polar opposite. Born into old money with deep roots in Manhattan's social elite, he attended prestigious prep schools, flew around the world in private jets, and viewed success as an expectation rather than a goal. Though the Blackwood fortune originated from real estate, Damon expanded it through daring tech investments in Silicon Valley. By 30, he had multiplied his inheritance several times over, gaining a reputation for both cunning and charm. Their paths first crossed at a charity fundraiser organized by the Friedman Foundation, a philanthropic event aimed at funding educational scholarships for underprivileged kids. Elena had volunteered to help with event logistics, hoping her bilingual skills could be of use. She believed passionately in giving back to the children whose struggles mirrored her own humble beginnings. Damon attended as one of the top donors, breezing in with his trademark confidence. The two collided, literally, when Eleanor stumbled while carrying a tray of drinks. Glass shattered at Damon's feet. Instead of berating her, he knelt to help clean up, surprising everyone present. In that moment, Eleanor saw not a ruthless millionaire, but a man capable of genuine kindness. Conversation flowed effortlessly once the awkwardness passed. He teased her about how fate apparently wanted them to meet. She felt an unexplainable spark that neither had ever experienced before. Within weeks, Damon pursued Elena with a laser-like focus. Lavish dinners, thoughtful gifts, long walks in Central Park. He presented himself as a man yearning for a deeper connection than the superficial relationships he had known. Although Elena felt uneasy about the drastic difference in their worlds, she couldn't deny her growing affection for him. He promised that love mattered more than any gap in status or bank accounts. Against her family's cautious advice, she allowed herself to be swept up in the whirlwind romance. When Damon proposed under a starlit sky on the deck of a yacht, complete with a diamond ring that dwarfed anything Elena had imagined, she said yes, tears of joy streaming down her face. She believed wholeheartedly in the fairy tale, that their love was a bridge strong enough to unite two vastly different backgrounds. Even Damon's mother, Beatrice Blackwood, who wore disapproval like a second skin, seemed grudgingly resigned to the union. For a moment it felt like Elena had truly found her own happily ever after. Little did she know how quickly illusions can crumble when tested by ambition, temptation, and the secrets of a man whose heart might not be as pure as she once believed. After the fairy tale wedding, a grand affair at the Blackwood estate overlooking the Hudson, Elena moved into Damon's luxurious penthouse in Midtown Manhattan. The building itself was a fortress of gleaming glass and steel, symbolizing everything Elena's old life was not. At first, she felt awed by the high ceilings, panoramic city views, and state-of-the-art security. But soon, her wonder gave way to an unsettling sensation of being trapped in a gilded cage. Life as Mrs. Damon Blackwood brought immediate notoriety. Paparazzi snapped photos whenever she emerged from the penthouse. Tabloids speculated about her humble background and how lucky she was to snag a billionaire husband. Elena tried to shrug off the gossip, focusing on her volunteer work at local community centers. She aimed to bring resources and hope to kids in struggling neighborhoods, kids like she once was. Yet, beneath the surface, she struggled to adapt to her new status. Damon, meanwhile, worked tirelessly, expanding his empire. He spent his days in high-stakes boardrooms and nights at exclusive soirees with entrepreneurs, movie stars and politicians. Early on, Elena joined him at these events, wearing designer gowns he purchased for her. Though she dazzled in these dresses, inside she felt like an imposter. She endured pointed stares from other socialites, such as Bianca Friedman, heiress to Friedman Associates, who always found a way to belittle Elena with backhanded compliments about her modest origins. At home, Damon often seemed affectionate but distant. He would praise Elena's charitable endeavors, claiming her kindness inspired him. Yet his phone buzzed constantly with texts and emails. Business deals demanded attention at all hours. On nights when Damon was away, Elena roamed the cavernous penthouse alone, her footsteps echoing on marble floors. She missed the laughter of her close-knit family, the warmth of her tiny childhood apartment. Confronted by her growing loneliness, Elena suggested they plan a simpler lifestyle or spend more time out of the public eye. Damon nodded absently, promising to schedule a quiet weekend getaway. But the weekend never came. Each time something urgent, an investor meeting, a conference in Tokyo, stole his attention. Gradually, a sense of disconnection seeped into their marriage. Damon's nights grew longer, his business trips more frequent. He would return with lavish gifts, a necklace from Tiffany's, a limited edition handbag, and a quick apology. Elena tried to accept these gestures, but deep down she yearned for conversation, shared laughter, and genuine intimacy. She tried to talk to him about starting a family, about building something beyond financial conquests. Damon deflected the topic, insisting it wasn't the right time. Rumors started circulating in hush-hush corners of Manhattan society, whispers that Damon was seen flirting at upscale clubs, spotted with an unfamiliar woman at a private lounge. Elena brushed them off as malicious lies. She had glimpsed Damon's capacity for kindness. She clung to the belief that he wouldn't betray her. Yet a nagging doubt lodged in her heart. In the swirl of glitz and glam, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that the foundation of their love story wasn't as solid as she had once believed. Cracks were forming, subtle but dangerous. She did her best to ignore them, trusting that Damon's love would prevail. Little did she know, the storms gathering around her would soon become impossible to ignore. The first time Elena saw an explicit sign of Damon's drifting loyalty was at a high-profile charity gala hosted by the Friedman Foundation. She had attended to support Damon's philanthropic commitments, even though she felt out of place among the city's wealthiest elites. Dressed in an elegant emerald gown, Elena tried to navigate the sea of privileged guests, looking for Damon, who had slipped away to speak with potential investors. A hush swept the crowd near one corner of the ballroom as a stunning woman in a glittering silver dress made her entrance. Tall, with cascading auburn hair, she radiated confidence. Whispers identified her as Bianca Friedman's friend, Sienna Tremont, a rising figure in the fashion world. Though Eleanor had heard Sienna's name in passing, she never expected the woman to carry such an aura of effortless seduction. Moments later, Eleanor spotted Damon across the room, engaged in a seemingly intimate discussion with Sienna. The pair stood close, and Damon's hand lingered on Sienna's arm in a way that felt too familiar. A wave of jealousy and confusion crashed over Elena. She tried to approach, but was intercepted by an elderly patron wanting to discuss the charity's cause. By the time she excused herself, Damon and Sienna had moved elsewhere. Throughout the evening, Eleanor caught glimpses of them, laughing together at the champagne bar, exchanging phone numbers in a subtle but telling motion. Her heart sank each time. She longed to confront Damon, but part of her feared causing a scene that tabloids would devour. She vowed to speak with him once they returned home. However, as typical of these events, Damon arrived back at the penthouse well past midnight. He claimed urgent business had kept him, avoiding her eyes when she inquired about Sienna. Days turned into weeks, and Elena's suspicions mounted. Late-night phone calls and unexplained outings became